The sound of the royal drum echoed through the kingdom of Zambara as Queen Malika stepped out of her golden palace. Her crown glittered under the morning sun, and her flowing red gown trailed behind her like a stream of blood. People bowed their heads as she passed, not out of love, but out of fear. Everyone in Zambara knew one thing: Queen Malika was not a ruler to be disobeyed. She was beautiful, powerful, and merciless. It was said that her beauty could charm a lion, but her heart could frighten even the bravest soldier. Before Malika became queen, Zambara had been a peaceful kingdom. The people sang while working in their farms, the market was always filled with laughter, and King Joram, her husband, was a kind and generous ruler. But everything changed the day Malika became queen. When Joram married her, people celebrated for days. They believed she would bring blessings to the throne because she was intelligent and confident. But behind that charm was ambition sharper than a knife. Malika wanted more than love. She wanted absolute power. At first, she played the role of the perfect wife, always beside the king, smiling at gatherings, feeding the poor, and advising her husband. But slowly, she began to manipulate him. "My king," she would whisper at night, "you are too soft. A ruler must be feared, not loved. Kindness makes people disobey." And Joram, who loved her deeply, listened. Months later, her words began to take root. The king started giving harsh punishments for small offenses. Farmers who failed to pay tax were jailed. Soldiers who arrived late for duty were whipped. The people grew restless, but no one dared speak against the queen. Then, tragedy struck. King Joram fell ill. Some said it was poisonous. Others said it was the gods' anger. But one thing was certain: Queen Malika took over the throne completely. When the king finally died, Malika did not shed a tear. She wore black for a week, then came out dressed in royal red. She stood before the council of elders and declared, "From today, I am the ruler of Zambara. Whoever challenges me will meet death." And no one dared to oppose her. Under her rule, fear became the law. Every morning, soldiers patrolled the streets, ensuring people bowed whenever her name was mentioned. Taxes were tripled, and those who couldn't pay lost their lands. The palace became a fortress, guarded day and night. Malika built herself a grand throne room, decorated with mirrors and gold. She would sit there for hours, admiring her reflection, whispering to herself, "I am the most powerful queen this kingdom has ever seen." But her greed knew no end. She began taking young girls from the villages to serve in her palace, claiming it was an honor. In truth, they became her slaves. Anyone who spoke against her disappeared. Some said they were buried alive in the royal garden. The once happy kingdom now lived in silence and tears. Among those who suffered was an old woman named Mama Dira. Her only son, Kofi, was a farmer who refused to give up his harvest to the queen's soldiers. For that, he was beaten and taken away. Mama Dira went to the palace to beg. When she was brought before the queen, she knelt and cried, "Oh, my majesty, please have mercy on my son. He is all I have." Queen Malika looked down from her golden throne, her eyes cold as ice. "Your son defied me. There is no mercy for the disobedience." "Please, my queen, he did not mean it," the woman sobbed. Malika waved her hand lazily. "Guards, take this woman away before her tears dirty my floor." Mama Dira was dragged out, screaming. The queen didn't even look back. Years passed, and the people's hatred grew. They prayed in secret for freedom, but no one was brave enough to stand against her, until a young soldier named Adin decided that enough was enough. Adin was tall, strong, and loyal.
His father had served under the late King Joram, and he remembered the days when the kingdom was peaceful. Adin's mother had died of hunger after Queen Malika's tax collectors took their last food. He swore he would not rest until justice was done. One night, while on duty near the palace, Adin overheard two royal guards whispering, "The queen plans to arrest the council tomorrow," one said. "She thinks they are plotting against her."
Adin's heart raced. The Council of Elders was the only group that still cared for the people. If she destroyed them, no one would ever be able to challenge her again. That night, Adin went to his small hut, lit a candle, and wrote a secret letter to Elder Zuba, the oldest and wisest man in the council. The letter warned of the queen's plan and called for a secret meeting. The next evening, under the cover of darkness, the elders met in a hidden cave outside the city. Adin joined them. His voice trembled as he spoke. "The queen's cruelty has gone too far. We must act now or die as slaves." Elder Zuba sighed deeply. "She has soldiers and spies everywhere. If we fight, many will die." "But if we don't fight," Adin replied firmly, "then we are already dead." The elders looked at one another. They knew he was right. So they formed a plan. They would gather the people, expose the queen's evil deeds, and call upon the spirits of their ancestors to strip her of power. The day of the queen's annual festival was chosen as the moment of truth. The Festival of the Moon was the biggest event in Zambara. People from all villages came to the palace to watch dances and offer gifts. Queen Malika always used it to show off her wealth. She would arrive wearing diamonds and gold, sitting on a throne carried by 10 strong men. This year was no different. She appeared dressed in silver and pearls, smiling proudly as people bowed. Drums played, dancers twirled, and cheers filled the air, though everyone cheered out of fear. Then, suddenly, Elder Zuba stepped forward. He raised his staff high and shouted, "People of Zambara, hear me!" The crowd fell silent. Malika frowned. "Who dares to interrupt my festival?" Zuba ignored her and continued, "Our queen has ruled with cruelty. She has taken our sons, our daughters, and our land. Today, we call upon the spirits of our ancestors to judge her." The crowd gasped. Soldiers rushed forward, but Adin and his men blocked them. Malika rose from her throne, furious. "Seize them!" But before her guards could act, thunder cracked across the sky. The wind grew wild. The drums fell silent. The people trembled as dark clouds gathered above. Elder Zuba lifted his staff again. "O spirits of our fathers, if this queen's heart is pure, let her stand firm. But if she has ruled with blood and lies, reveal her true self before her people." A strange silence followed. Then lightning struck the ground beside the queen. Her crown fell off, and her fine gown began to fade. The gold melted from her throne. The people gasped as her skin turned pale and her eyes widened in fear. She looked around, confused. What is happening?" she stammered. Zuba's voice thundered. "The gods do not sleep. You used their power for evil, and now they take it back." Malika screamed as a heavy wind circled her. Her jewels broke apart. Her beauty vanished, and her voice grew weak. She fell to her knees, trembling. "Please," she cried, "forgive me." But it was too late. The people surrounded her, shouting, "No more tyranny! No more blood!" That day, Queen Malika was stripped of her crown and locked in the old prison she had built for others. The same gods who once feared her now refused to look at her. Days later, Elder Zuba gathered the people in the palace courtyard. "My children," he said, "power is a test. Some pass, some fail. Our queen failed because she ruled with pride, not love. Let her fall be a lesson to all who seek power without mercy." The people nodded, tears in their eyes. Adin was hailed as a hero for his courage. The council chose a new leader, one who promised to serve the people, not rule them with fear. Years passed, and the story of Queen Malika became a warning told to children at night. Never let greed blind your heart. Never let pride make you forget your people. For even the mightiest fall when they forget where they came from. In the lonely prison at the edge of Zambara, an old woman sat by a small window, staring at the sunset. It was Queen Malika. Her once golden hair was gray, her hands weak. Every evening, she whispered to herself, "I had everything, power, beauty, glory, yet I lost it all because of my pride." Sometimes, she heard children outside laughing and playing, and she smiled sadly. "At least they are free," she murmured. And so, the Tyrant Queen ended her days not in luxury, but in silence, a living reminder that a kingdom built on fear cannot stand forever. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.